Your skin is doing something right now that it borrowed from a creature that no longer exists in you. Why does cold and fear trigger the exact same reaction? Why does a sad song give you chills, but a funny one doesn't? Why does your body still run a program that flat out doesn't work on you anymore? What does a threatened porcupine have to do with your playlist? And why did evolution keep this glitch in your system for millions of years? It's not a skin thing. It's not even really a cold thing. It's a survival error your body keeps making, and you're glad it does. But here's the weird part. The reason it still exists has nothing to do with keeping you warm. You're watching a movie. The score swells. Your arms suddenly look like a plucked chicken. That's not random. Tiny muscles sit at the base of every single hair on your body. These are called erector pili, which just means hair-raising muscles. And when they all fire at the same time, the hair stands up and the skin bunches into those familiar little bumps. One small muscle per hair, firing all at once. Your whole arm is running thousands of tiny involuntary muscle contractions in under a second. That's what a goosebump actually is, and not a skin texture, not a temperature reaction, a coordinated muscular event. But why would your body wire every single hair follicle to its own panic button? Here's the misconception most people carry. Goosebumps are your body trying to stay warm. That's the easy answer. It's also only about half the story. Cold does trigger them, sure, but fear triggers the exact same response. So does music. So does witnessing something that takes your breath away. Cold air and terror and a perfect chord progression are all hitting the exact same switch in your body. That's not a warming mechanism. That's something much older. This is the part everyone misses. The goosebump wasn't designed for your body. It was designed for a body you no longer have. The real driver here is your sympathetic nervous system. That's your body's ancient act, now think later alarm system. When it fires, it releases adrenaline. That adrenaline tells the erector pili muscles to contract. Hair goes up, skin puckers. The whole thing happens before your brain has finished deciding whether to be scared. Your nervous system detects something that feels like a threat, but it can't tell the difference between freezing air and an actual predator. Therefore, the same signal fires for both. It's like your body has one emergency broadcast tone, blizzard, beep. Bear in the woods, beep. That one song on your drive home apparently also beep. So the mechanism isn't broken, it's just running very old software on a body that has changed completely around it. A horror movie and a cold shower feel identical to your skin, because to the part of your nervous system that causes goosebumps, they kind of are, but here's where it gets crazy. This mechanism used to actually work. Picture a small, furry mammal, dense fur, no tools, no shelter, surrounded by things that want to eat it. It's roughly 300 million years ago, and this little creature has a trick. When threatened, its erector pili fire. Its fur stands completely on end, and suddenly it looks about 30% bigger than it actually is. That's not a small advantage. A predator that isn't sure whether its target is worth the fight will sometimes just walk away. One theory is that this puff-up response was actually a threat display first, a way to look bigger and more dangerous, and the warmth it created by trapping air in the fur was a bonus feature, not the main point. Think about a cat when it's scared. Its back arches, its tail goes huge, its entire coat stands up. That's the same system. A porcupine raising its quills, a bird flaring its feathers in the cold, all the same ancient muscle, doing the same ancient job. That creature eventually evolved into us, but we lost the thick fur along the way. Therefore, the puff-up response still fires, with zero physical effect. Your body didn't forget to remove this feature, it just never had a reason to. Goosebumps cost almost no energy to run. Evolution doesn't delete cheap things. So it stayed. You are running a bluff your body hasn't updated since before humans existed. Now here's where the story gets more interesting, Bettis, because goosebumps and shivers feel related, but they are completely different systems doing different jobs. Goosebumps are a muscle response at the hair follicle, silent, instant. They don't generate any heat. Shivers, on the other hand, are your whole body trembling. rapid muscle contractions all over, is specifically designed to produce heat through movement. Shivers are loud, sustained, and purely thermal. They often show up at the same time as goosebumps, which is why people lump them together, but they're running on separate wiring. Goosebumps are your body trying to look bigger. Shivers are your body actually trying to get warmer. Same cold. Two different emergency responses. And then there's a third thing people mix up. That skin-crawling feeling you get from disgust or something deeply unsettling. That sensation involves a completely different nerve pathway. No muscle contraction happens. It's a pure psychological feeling, not a physical one. Same creepy vibe, completely different wiring. So which one fires when music hits you? Turns out music chills are their own category entirely. They even have a name, frisson, from the French word for shiver. When a piece of music peaks, when the strings drop in, when the chorus lands harder than you expected, when the bridge does something you didn't see coming, some people's bodies treat that emotional intensity the same way they treat a threat. The adrenaline pathway gets nudged, the erector pili fire chills run up the arms. One widely discussed estimate suggests only somewhere between 55 and 65% of people experience this at all. Researchers debate the exact number, but the general finding is that not everyone's nervous system reacts this way to music. You either have it or you don't. If you do, your nervous system is essentially treating a chord progression like something worth preparing for. The music is harmless, but your body logs it as emotionally significant. Therefore, you feel physically moved by something you can't even touch. You're probably thinking this is just a quirky side effect, but it might actually be one of the most uniquely human responses we have. Beauty and danger apparently rhyme in the nervous system, and once you know what's actually happening, you start seeing it everywhere. Your dog's raised hackles, the fur standing up along its spine when it's on alert, same muscle, same signal, working exactly as designed. A cat going full Halloween pose at something you can't see. Birds puffed up on a cold wire trapping air in their feathers to stay warm. Erector pili doing exactly the original job, just on a creature that still has enough feathers to make it count. That moment, a film score syncs perfectly with a shot and your arm goes electric before you even register the emotion consciously. Jumping into a cold pool and getting goosebumps before you're even fully underwater, your body reading the temperature change and reacting faster than thought. Walking from summer heat into a cold, air-conditioned room. The chorus of a song dropping after you've heard it 200 times and still getting the chills anyway. Stage fright before you have to speak in front of people. That same adrenaline, same skin response. Because your nervous system reads social exposure as a version of threat, watching someone else get hurt and feeling a faint wave of it yourself, your empathy system triggering a mild sympathetic response. The uncanny valley, that uncomfortable feeling when something looks almost human but not quite, triggering a low-level alarm that reads, "Something is wrong here." Jumping scares in video games, even when you're completely expecting them. A national anthem before a big event, a graduation. A moment when a room full of strangers all feels something at the same time. Reading a sentence that perfectly puts into words something you felt for years but couldn't explain. A sudden, unexpected silence in a loud room. Every single one of these is your ancient alarm system waking up for a split second, scanning for the threat, finding nothing, and going back to sleep. One thing worth knowing, there's a skin condition called keratosis pilaris. It shows up as small, rough bumps on the upper arms or thighs and looks a lot like permanent goosebumps. It's actually caused by a buildup of a protein called keratin around the hair follicle, and it has nothing to do with the erector pili muscle response. Lots of people confuse it with getting goosebumps constantly. It's very common, very harmless, and totally different. Real goosebumps come and go in seconds. If you notice persistent bumps with no cold or emotional trigger behind them, it's just worth being aware they might be something else entirely. Not scary, just different. Your skin is not malfunctioning, it's just dramatically overqualified for modern life. Goosebumps are a 300 million year old threat display your body still performs for cold, for fear, for music, for awe, because deep in your wiring, all of those things got wired to the same ancient switch. You can't control it, you can't fake it. And every time it happens, something in you is recognizing that this moment matters.